same objective. Let me start by Europe. I think that Europe has an obligation to resist any temptation for gang-ho diplomacy or shooting from the hip when it comes to EU-US relationship. I think Europe needs to exhaust every possible margin in safeguarding the transatlantic relationship. This is a relationship worth $1 trillion per year. This is the center of gravity of world governments. And despite the occasional toxicity and the declarations here and there, I think the prevailing attitude in the chancelleries of our European capitals is to keep a cool head and focus on the many communalities and synergies that we can establish in making this transatlantic bond resilient and durable. And I think, if you ask me, that this is the method that is prevailing, and this is what is working. Let me tell you that Europe obtained one of the most favorable tariff deals with the US administration, and despite the toxicity, we also were able to find a workable solution on Greenland that safeguards the essential priorities on both sides. Let me now come to Greece and Cyprus. I think Greece is emerging as a remarkable anchor of Euro-Atlantic stability in a region that desperately needs certainty and stability. I think Greece is producing much more security than it consumes. And this is a fantastic development for a country that only 10 years ago was at the brink of the abyss, about to be kicked out of the Eurozone and Schengen. These were years that I'm sure that do not escape anybody. And let me also come to Cyprus, because especially these days, in the current geopolitical context, I think that Cyprus is offering a formidable example of European solidarity. Cyprus shows that no member state will be ever left alone in the face of threats and lack of stability, geopolitically or otherwise. Cyprus is offering a fantastic example of what a future Europe of defense would look like when one of us, the family, needs the others will be there. But there is probably something else that Cyprus could do. And here I want to be very clear that I speak on my personal capacity. I do not represent the European Commission, I do not represent the Greek government. But as a friend of Cyprus, I would like to suggest a next step that would enhance greatly the prospect of stability in Southeastern Europe. I think that this is probably the best possible moment that Cyprus would ever have to request formally and urgently the accession of the Republic of Cyprus to NATO. This is the moment. I appreciate the applause. I think some of the participants understand what I'm trying to say. Cyprus is the only non-NATO member in the first line of the geopolitical turbulence. Turkey is a NATO member. Greece is a NATO member. But Cyprus is not. So, other than the European offering of defense, security, solidarity, stability in the Republic, I think this moment is a formidable